Hey, you guys. Good morning because it is literally first thing in the morning for me. I feel like, I wake up refreshed every day, but I just woke up with an extra surge of energy today. And I'm like, you know what? Let me hop in on the channel and spend time with you guys early on because I do have a lot planned for today. But yeah, how to control your reactions to other people's fuckery. What I'm going to do, you guys, is share some tips that I've used throughout the years because people will try to take you there. And some people really struggle in this area. Thankfully, it's actually not one of my struggles. I'm pretty good at this. So you've picked the right person to come listen to because, yeah. All right. So, in true fashion, I have my list here, and we're going to go ahead and just work down the list. And this is just to help someone who seems to always fall for a bait or they're falling for the bait too often. People are able to trigger you um, to act out of your character, meaning like you don't even normally act like this, but someone's able to prick on you or provoke you into behaving in a way that you're not too happy about after you've calmed down. All right. First, you're definitely going to need to increase your emotional maturity. Let's just start there. So, everything on this list is helping you to increase your emotional maturity so that you can deal with conflicts or have conflict resolution better. Now, when I say conflict resolution, you guys, it doesn't mean that you've resolved the issue with the other person, but the resolution on your end is resolved, regardless to where they are in the situation. All right. So, number one, I just want to talk about anger. Anger is not a horrible thing. People make it a demon and a demonic thing. And it's not the anger, it's how you react to it. So, whatever feelings that they're provoking in you is not for you to feel bad about it. It's for you to definitely take note of it. But it's how you channel that energy once you start feeling it. So, the anger, the disappointment, the rage, all of that stuff that is bringing up for you. We're all human. We're going to feel feelings. You're not a psychopath. You're going to feel feelings. So it's not feeling it. So don't make feeling it a bad thing. Let that be, to me, when we feel emotions, our bodies reacting with the stimulus in our environment to let us know, hey, this is positive for me. This is giving me positive feelings. This is giving me negative feelings. But we have to be careful with feelings because when we're trauma bonded to someone, their love bomb is going to make us feel good. I don't want to get off topic here because it's still very much connected. So we can actually feel angry when we're hearing some truth that we're not ready to receive as well. So, feelings aren't always facts, but they're just something to examine for sure. Feelings are something to examine and not just fly off the handle with per se, unless it's a situation, obviously, where you're not feeling safe. But this video is about reactions to people fuckery. So that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, get in the mindset of more so when you're trying to, when people are trying to get you to be reactive, of examining your feelings and not just flying off of them, first of all. All right. Number two, you guys, is about seeing the conflict from your higher self as well. Everybody, we all have different faces and ranges within ourselves. And, we can tap into pettiness. We can tap into certain things, but if you're viewing the conflict from your higher self, you'll want to take the higher road. And ultimately, you'll be thankful that you did. All right, instead of getting messy with the person. And in order to control your reactions, you need to know that someone is trying to get that reaction out of you. Need to be able to see the manipulation for what it is. That some people are just acting out of their subconscious, rather even if it's the other person, but this video isn't for them. If they're going to stay messy, let them, but this is about you. But you need to be able to know that, what the dysfunction is, that you're being baited, that you're being set up, that, they're trying to stimulate the trauma bond, or, the soul ties or that you have with them, that it's an invitation. You have to be able to know that someone's gaslighting you or lying to you or projecting onto you. So being able to see what these things are, of course, before you even issue the reaction is going to be important. All right. And that's just getting off of a basic perspective. And that goes back to increasing your emotional maturity. Like you're not so shallow with your life experiences. Oh, someone says something nasty to me, I'm going to say something nasty to them. Nah, we can deal with our higher selves. And the higher we get in that, you'll start dealing with situations differently instead of being so basic minded and tit for tat. Well, you did this, I'm going to do that. You did it, I'm going to do it too. You hurt me, I'm going to try to hurt you more. So, yeah, tapping into your higher self. The next thing, you guys, is being able to define what winning is, because winning isn't always what you might envision it to be, especially when you're operating out of your lower self. When someone is winning, isn't always giving a response. Winning isn't always striking harder. Because honestly, when I've read all type of psychology books, when we look at like the 48 laws of powers or even in 50th laws of powers, and they talk about winning is not always the most obvious choice. That's a really basic minded person. As a matter of fact, when you go out, the person is abusing you, and maybe they've been abusing you, and you go strike them harder, then you look like you're the cruel person, honestly. And you may be like, well, I don't care how people view me and what their perspectives are, but you might, especially if it's something that ends up going to court. So define winning, learning how to be flexible with what that looks like and defining it from your higher self and your emotional maturity is really going to be important in these type of situations when people are baiting you to be low vibrational and to be ignorant with them, be toxic with them. Ultimately, you guys, you need to let it be on your terms, because when someone's trying to get you to be reactionary, obviously they want you to react and respond to things that they're doing, And this is something that people should have learned in their childhood, but many adults haven't. Like right now, the twins are 8, and every day I'm like, it's a little annoying for me, but I'm like, girl, they're 8. You just gotta keep reinforcing them. Every little thing somebody does. This one called me that, whether they know it's not even true, but they're upset about it. So their emotional maturity is very low, but they're only 8, But, letting it be on your terms is going to be important and not their triggers, because that's what it basically is on when they're able to get you to be reactionary. My terms say, I don't care what you're saying, what you're trying to trigger in me. I get to decide if I even want to be angry. I get to decide if I even want to say something back or give you any type of energy at all or attention, is my term. So even if I decided to get angry, that's different than if you triggered me to be angry. Those are two different things. Those are two different things. Like someone came under my video that I made yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it's like, man, you were using a lot of profanity. That was my choice. I wanted to use profanity. It's interesting on a channel like this. I meet all types of people, and we were talking about people's fuckery in that video, and I was like, look, I already know I'm going to use profanity in that video. And I'm like, if you don't like it, you're gonna need to go. But someone took the time to come under there. It could have been a troll. Oh, I used to listen to you. You've helped me through so much, but I've noticed that you're using profanity. I'm like, sis or bro, because I don't know if it was a man or a woman. In my mind, I'm like, okay, that was my delivery, and it's going to be the right delivery for the people who need to hear that delivery. But it's interesting to me that people would be so sensitive to profanity while we're talking about light things, but not be sensitivity to the real darkness of a narcissist. Like, pick up on that. You know, don't worry about my profanity in the light. Worry about the real darkness with that narcissist. Did you pick up on that the way that you're trying to pick up on me? So, yeah. Child, I tell you. But yeah, let it be on your terms. You know, when I choose to get angry, it was definitely my choice. If I chose to get passionate, if I chose to do something, it was my choice. It wasn't because someone triggered me. I thought about it and I was like, I want to do it this way, not because I'm reacting to this person. So let it be on your terms, even then. The next thing, you guys, is not to rush in. You know, when people are baiting people into drama, into conflict, they're expecting you to not think for a second, to just charge right into the situation. You can take a time out. You can take a moment. As a matter of fact, in emotional maturity, we always say don't make decisions when we're angry or when things are heightened in that type of way. So you feel like you have to rush in? No, calm down, actually think. Don't let your emotions rush in and take the steering wheel, basically, because that's what's going to happen. Then you're going to say something all quick. Even if you wanted to say something, you probably could have said something even better if you had just calmed down and actually filtered yourself and thought about it first. If you even thought you needed to reply back or have some type of comeback to this. Rushing in, you're going to find that you'll probably be out of control. And yeah, while some people are really good on their feet with these comebacks, it's still energizing a situation too. All right. So at the end of the day, we're trying to really get to the best option and not just the emotional option, because the best option may not even be emotional at all. The best option may be not allowing you to actually use your emotions to actually deal with the situations or the situation. Shoot. And you're talking to someone who's been pricked and pricked and pricked and pricked. You know, someone was using TikTok, you guys, to harass me for like at least, I think, in the last 4 years. This person literally made like 6,000 posts about me. I'm serious. Like 6,000 posts. Even like this week, still posting about me. So this morning, when I seen that TikTok got banned, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess they're going to have to find somewhere else unless Trump gets it reactivated. But actually, it was a little satisfying to me. And I know some of you really like TikTok, but I never really, I don't think I've spent more than an hour on TikTok in my whole life, even though I did like the TikTok store where I got my Stanley Cup. What is it, a Stanley Cup? It's not a Stanley Cup, but it's like one of those Stanley Cups, MEOKY. Yes. But yeah, so when you've been pricked like I've been pricked, you guys, and I was silent the whole time, just silent. You know, I sent one email to the person asking them to stop doing defamation of character, and that was it. You know, they said they were going to take their content down, and they didn't. They actually went harder on it. But it's down for now. So this manic person will have to find another platform for now to continue to harass me. And I'm sure they will, because I define their life at that point. Someone's putting that type of energy. Now, that person needs to be listening to this video because, well, it's a little weird in this situation because it's a one-sided beef. You know, like I haven't done anything to this person. They just don't like me. So there is not even a reaction, or is it a reaction to me not fucking with them? I don't know. Ciao. But either way, TikTok is down for now, and that manic person is going to have to figure out somewhere else to go spew their hate. It's crazy, but it's a real thing in this world. The amount of energy that people will actually devote to trying to harm you or think they're trying to harm you or bring you down, you know. But moving right along, you guys, we're not going to rush in and let our emotions rush in and take the steering wheel. All right. So we're going to think about logic versus feelings. Because here's the thing, how you feel can't be controlled per se, but how you react to how you feel can, you know? And that's the main thing. And that goes back to me saying feeling the anger is one thing, but how you respond to that energy or what you do with the energy of the anger is another. All right. And then always keep in mind that when you do give a response, you are feeding it, even if it's the most classiest response, even if they were cursing you out and you got real classy with your response, it's still feeding it on some level. And feeding it is an acknowledgement as well. And sometimes these messy people, that's what they want. They still want to feel relevant, because oftentimes when people are doing this, you probably cut them off. You may even be no contact with them. So they're feeling irrelevant. They're desperate for some type of acknowledgement. Hey, Michael, and blessings to you as well. So, yeah. So actually not giving them the response is, going to continue to make them not feel relevant. And maybe they might try to work harder for that to change, but that's on them. Let them work in vain, The next thing is we're going to talk about just who we give our power to anyway, because we do have to consider the source as far as why do I even care about what this person cares about me or values or what they have to say, especially, this person claimed to love you and they're doing all of this stuff. Obviously, they don't even love you. Obviously, they're not really your friend. Obviously, this person isn't coming from a caring energy. They're not trying to uplift you. They're not trying to bring peace into your life. They're trying to bring strife and conflict. So why am I going to even empower that? Why do I even care about what this person thinks? So many survivors over the years, they're so devastated by the hurtful things that a narcissist says to them. A lot of times they're just projecting anyway. Because like I said, in many videos, they're trying to dump their negative traits. And even if they are not doing that and they really feel that you're that way, who cares? I don't need someone that feels that way about me in my life or around me. I don't need to value you. You don't value me. I don't value you. But the thing about it that probably hurts these people is they're like a squeaky wheel sometimes. You might say, well, you know what? I don't care about it. But here's this person, they're talking about me today, tomorrow, the next day, they just won't shut up. You know what I mean? So then that might become an annoyance to you, perhaps. But not if don't check in on it. Don't look at it. Or just understand it's the perceptions need to be the opposite. Because if someone is holding on to you like that, you won. You automatically won. That means somehow, some way, even if you never started a fight with them, never cursed them out, never did this and that to them, but you see their toxicity and realize, you know what, this isn't going to work for me. And then their response, they became reactive. Now they're acting manic. Now they're stalking you and acting psycho. Honey, you won. Because there is something about you that got so much under their skin that every day that they're using life source to talk about you, and they feel like they have to go on this major campaign for the rest of their life to prove a fake ass point or to victimize you. They are scared, that you're probably going to expose them, or they are shattered inside for how their interaction with you triggered them. But instead of doing the work, they're trying to just bait you into petty nonsense. That means you won. It really does. You guys have to really understand when you won. Because guess what? That's a lot of energy for them to give. For them to even come to you and want to curse you out, they chose to take some of their energy. And it takes a lot of energy to be in anger and aggression. That takes a whole lot more energy. Your heart rate is up, like a whole lot more energy is going into that. And a whole lot more toxicity inside of them as well. And we're going to talk about that in a sec. But don't empower it. Don't value it. Don't care. Automatically, once you see this person isn't for you, automatically when you see that this person is of the dark, right then and there, you already know what team they're on and why you don't need to care. They're going to try to get in your head, but consider the source. Why would I care? Look at this low-class person. Look at them. Why do I care what this ignorant person has to say? This person is probably special needs, mentally ill, slow, some type of brain injury, right? personality disorders, stupid, dumb, whatever you want to call them. I'm not valuing that. Remedial. It's a reflection of them and not you. And that's what I always tell people, like, yeah, they said this and that, but who talks to people that way? If you were minding your business, if you weren't abusing them, you didn't do something to them to warrant all of this filth, all of this attack that they're sending your way. You didn't do anything. So what type of person are you really dealing with at that point? And why should you be empowering it and valuing and caring about that? Who cares what this person thinks? You don't need their acceptance. You don't need their approval. And maybe they're banking off of a time in a relationship where you wanted their acceptance and you wanted their approval. But that's over with now that you know. But you shouldn't really need, here's the thing. The thing is, I don't want anybody's approval, acceptance. Like, I don't want it. Like, if you're going to give it to me, fine. You come to my energy, we're engaging, and you deem me to be, level-headed or, a positive source that would be add positively in your life and vice versa. If we're seeing that in each other, fine. Let it be sincere. Let it flow, nurture. I don't need you to do that. The only real acceptance that I need is just from God. People, I don't need it from. But I understand, God gives people a tribe, and those people will naturally give you that. And that's fine and sincere. But I don't need anybody's acceptance. See, once you disempower human beings in that way, why do I need another human being to think light of me? God is the one that gave me my ideas. He's the one that gave me my mind and my purpose. He's the one that's ordering my steps. I don't need another human being to understand what God put in me and told me to do. The right people will get it, and the people who aren't won't. And when you become okay with that, no matter what box you put that relationship in, you thought this one was the one, you thought that was your best friend. Once it's revealed that it's not, you just got to make the adjustment. Most people are temporary in your life anyway, but you're talking to someone who's very introvert and don't really deal with people like that. I literally have one friend, one person that I will give the title of a friend, because number one, I don't just throw that word around, and I'm okay with that, and I'm never lonely, So when you're not needy of people and you're not needy of their acceptance, and that speaks to other issues that may need to be dealt with inside of you, if you've been abandoned or if you've been verbally abused as a child or in other relationships, that may speak to some work that you have to do within. And then that'll empower you to have control over your reactions when people try to bring fuckery to you. You'll have the emotional maturity to see that it's not even about you. It's about them. And you won't even want to engage, like leave them in their own energy, no matter how they try to wrap it up to make it about you. Michael says, yes, I agree. It is better to be silent. And after 24 hours, you laugh about it and laugh about them. Right. So you can understand that initial reaction may be little portions of the trauma bond that you haven't gotten away from. You know what I'm saying? It may be that little part that's triggering you in your subconscious from prior abuse. And then once you get out of that, you're operating from your higher self. You're seeing what it actually is. And bam, like you said, you're laughing about it and you're laughing about them. Absolutely correct. Good morning, DJ Codeine TV. All right. And here's something else, because some of these things are going to be not only, of course, talking about emotional maturity, but just ways to have perceptions. Just like when Kanye West was like, when he gives a speech, he envisions everybody naked so he won't feel embarrassed. But here's something I wrote along those lines. Think of it as money spent. Would you spend your money on that reaction? Like, is it really worth it? And, this is a lot of practicing being mindful. Just practicing being mindful. Do you need to spend money on that? And in today's inflation, where every dollar counts, like, we're very careful about, or we should be, right, how we're spending our money. Think of it as spending money when you're spending that emotion. All right. And then you'll probably choose to starve it at that point. All right. And then we talked about understanding what it really means, not what it appears to be. Like, yeah, this person appears to be trying to take strikes at my looks, take strikes at my work, take strikes at how my character and my integrity. That's how it appears. But what is it? What is really going on here? They're just trying to re-trigger my trauma bond. They're trying to get me to attach to a devil or something demonic. They're trying to distract me in life. Like, there's a bigger picture here, and we can. The whole thing of getting your reactions is to get you to be small-minded in those moments and to think about the little drops and nuggets that they're using to prick you where they think you're sore. And that's the thing. You might not even be sore there, or maybe you are. Maybe this person does know your insecurities. But again, you can work on these insecurities and empower yourself and have boundaries that even if someone pricks me there, I'm not going to give them the benefit. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. I'm not going to prick myself and engage in it and continue that pricking. I'm not going to be a part of that. If anything, I'm going to withdraw, see that for what it is. And if this is the person exposing themselves, put them where they belong. If they've been exposing themselves, let it reinforce it. This shouldn't be drawing you in. It should be repulsing you more. That's the thing about when you do the work, when dealing with low vibrational or toxic people or people who thrive in chaos, people who like to bait you in, or narcissists who can't get positive supply from you. So they're like, well, fine, I'll spend the rest of my life arguing with this person. Let them argue by themselves. Let them be in a beef by themselves. Let it start repulsing you. Like, the more you do the work, ain't nobody got time for that. You value your time, you value your energy, you value your peace. And if you really don't roll that way, it won't be enticing. It won't be enticing. DJ Coding has a question. Why do they want our reaction so bad? Yeah, and I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I was saying sometimes in a lot of these cases, they want to feel like they have control. Especially when it's like a narcissistic abuse situation, they're just all about control through the whole relationship. They're controlling you through all the phases of the cycle of abuse, and they're getting satisfaction from seeing these levels of control. Now, once the relationship is over, or even, people can be trying to get reactions from you while you're even still tied to them before you've even figured it out. It's a source of energy for them, and it validates that they have control over you. If you giving somebody your energy and time, them being able to even upset you, because usually people can't upset you unless you care. But some people are so, needing to increase their emotional maturity that even strangers can make them upset and ruin their day and make them cry and this and that. But especially people that we let get close into our heart space, that we're forming personal connections with, or, this could be in a professional settings anywhere. People want the reaction so bad because it validates their control over you. It validates that they hit the target and they got what they came there for. So it's an exchange of energy. That's how I see it. It reinforces their control. It reinforces their significance. And it's an exchange of energy as well, even though it's a toxic kind, but certain sources thrive off of that. So understands that these are distractions, because you might find, and this is when you're going under spiritual attacks, that these people, when they start timing it, or the energy, the source, the devil basically is using them at certain times when you had a lot planned for the day, and then right early in the morning, somebody is starting their mess with you, right? And then it makes you just want to get in your bed, or it throws off half of your day. These are distractions from your real goals in life. And it's distractions from your real goal of that situation. Maybe the goal is to move on. The goal is to stay no contact. The goal is to guard your peace. But you can't, it's hard to guard it when you go right back into the battlefield. It's hard to move on if you're still interacting. You can't be no contact if you break it. So, it's a distraction from a real goal as well. Michael says, yes, they like to have reactions so they can contact you into dark energy. Yeah, contract, he said. But yeah, definitely. And here's the other thing, you guys, and this is higher level emotional maturity concepts right now. Silence is speaking as well. Like we can't be so small-minded to always think that we have to verbally say something to get a message across or to be speaking, and that's why when they say taking in communication, don't just listen to what a person says, taking their body language, their eye contact, the tone of their voice, like take all the social clues that you can. Silence is speaking as well. It's sending a message. So don't, you can send an even stronger message. I think, we minimize that a lot. The louder person is usually the more hurt one, as a matter of fact. So that person who went on TikTok and made like 6,000 videos about me, partially to try to steal my identity because they secretly just would like to be on would like to have my platform, but also to try to bring me down in some type of sense, psychologically and mentally, which is weird. But, that person was really loud with it. Like, good grief, that's exhausting to me. 6,000 posts. The louder person is the more hurt one. The one that's in silence is actually more in power. All right. So here's another sort of like Kanye West type of advice. Would you want that on camera? Don't do it then. Do you want that on camera? Don't do it. Even if there's no camera there. Another Kanye West type of advice. Are you happy with God watching you do this? And I know that we're not perfect and we're not going to get this right every time, but it's something to think about. Are you going to be happy with God seeing this? Or later on, you're going to be repenting for that. You're going to be asking for forgiveness for, tapping into your lower self when you know that you could have handled that better, or that you rushed in with your emotions. All right. The next thing that I wrote down is to definitely do the work behind the scenes. Because as you do the work to heal from that trauma, because, they're relentless. They might keep doing it. Like I said, someone did 6,000 posts in counting. Well, they can't in counting at this point because TikTok is down. But, they'll do it somewhere else. But either way, when you do the work behind the scene, their efforts just start to fall on deaf ears. There's no energy being reciprocated back to it in a certain way because you don't care anymore. Like you've worked to actually heal through the situation. So any attack that they could really make on you is like, who cares? Like I've been stopped caring, So you're just wasting your energy and that's your choice. All right. So the next thing, you guys, is to learn about reactive abuse because, it definitely ties in with the topic today. We're talking about responding to people's fuckery. It is a form of reactive abuse, which is a toxic way to say self-defense, So I guess, through researching reactive abuse and understanding it's a form of, the reactive abuse, the response to it, which is the fight or flight, is a self-defense to reactive abuse. But the fight or flight, they're making it look negative when it really is a self-defense. But how you self-defense against it will be tied to your emotional maturity, if that makes sense. The person is doing reactive abuse to you to provoke you. They want to provoke you so that they can then villainize you and maybe create fear or doubt or guilt or confusion inside of you, and even smear you with your reaction. Because you're having a fight or flight response, that's what's going to kick in when you're trying to protect yourself from reactive abuse. And that is a form of self-defense. But I think you can handle that fight or flight response by, of course, increasing your emotional maturity and your perspective over the whole situation. Because there's a difference between someone that's taking it all to their heart and then they kick into a fight or flight, they're going to fight. And then there's a difference between the person that just might even flight the situation, like, this ain't even worth my time. Like, I've had enough of them, been there, done that, seen that. Oh, they're trying the same routine again. You can't even do reactive abuse on me. You could try to do it, but you can't even provoke me at this point because I already know what you're doing and I don't care about it. I've disempowered the whole situation. Like, your value to me is zero. It's zero. You know? And then increasing your coping skills is going to be helpful as well. And that's also learning how to self-soothe. Not be, what is the word for it? Not to act like, not to be oblivious or to just push it down, because it will come back up. And I talked about this when I first started this channel, and talking about panic attacks and anxiety attacks and those emotions that eventually have to come back up like a beach ball that gets pushed to the bottom of a pool. If you let that go, it's going to surge back up really hard. So, coping skills, you need to have it. But if you get to a certain point where you completely disempower that person, it's not really a coping skill at that point, because there's really nothing to cope with, because it's like, oh, here they go again. But it's like, okay, whatever. It's like a whatever energy that's going to come over you. But for those of you who are still a little hurt by it because you had an intimate relationship with this person, then yeah, now you're going to need some coping skills until you can, eliminate or completely disempower them. Because that's what you need to be doing. A person that's trying to harm you in that way shouldn't be empowered in any way. And even if, you're not all the way there, they don't have to know it. They don't have to know it, because you're not going to be reactive. And the coping skills and the boundaries that you have with yourself will help you. So if someone's repetitively doing something, it's common sense. It is in your emotional maturity to be able to say, okay, well, what can I do? What should I do when this person starts doing this to me? What are the healthy options that I have in me? Like, have some forethought. People go into war with strategies. You can actually think about it, especially if there's a repetitive, or what if this person does this to me again? What are the healthy ways that I can deal with this situation? And have that at your disposal at that time. And if you're afraid that you might just knee-jerk run off of your emotions, remember what I said earlier, you don't have to have a quick response. And like Michael was saying, he waits, and in 24 hours, his emotions have leveled out. He looks at it and he's actually laughing. A whole different world from when it initially happened, because he gave himself the space and time to actually get to his true self and not be operating off of a trauma bond. So Michael says, yes, indeed. Thank you. Almost non-effective are they now? Face them eye to eye, say nothing, not even hello. Yeah. They don't deserve your hellos. You don't have to speak to your enemy. Nope. And of course, these things could play out different in a work setting where you just communicate with them only when you have to, type of thing. But at least you know who they are. That's the important thing. Because I've given coaching to people who were going through, who had narcissistic bosses, and, they were crying every day because of the tactics and different things. So different settings require, you may not be able to go no contact per se. But then you disempower them and empower yourself. And understand that you deserve better, but how will you get better? Understanding that you deserve better and knowing the actual way that you will get to that betterness, whether it's maintaining the no contact, not feeding in to it, paying them with dust type of thing, because you deserve better. Like, those aren't the type of interactions that I allow. I make people have to earn the right to have a tit for tat for me. You have to earn that right with me. I'm not just giving it to anybody all willy-nilly. And I'm not, even if the person was very close with me, but I've exited them out of my kingdom. I know who they are. I see them for who they are. They're naked in front of my eyes. I know I deserve better. I don't want to give you any of my energy, even if it's a negative one. I don't want to give it to you. I get to decide. I get to decide. And we've talked about that. But you deserve better. You deserve a better type of interaction. You don't deserve to be reactivating trauma bonds. You deserve better. And how will you get that? You need to come to those conclusions because you deserve better. And understand, you guys, when you are constantly in a state of engaging in this, you're getting physical punches. Like your heart rate is going up, your blood pressure is going up, you're stressing out your body, you might be getting headaches. And of course, like I just talked about, the anxiety attacks and stress that you're putting on your organs, like, is this how you want to exist? Do you want to engage with people that want you to exist on that level? Hey, if they want to exist on that level, that's on them. But you can decide in my world and in my life, and as far as what I have control over, I choose not to engage in those type of relationships. So if you're on that, you can't be on me. You can't be around me. Like, you've already made your choice and I made mine. I'm not going to take the physical punches. Yeah, we've been talking about the psychological and the mental stuff, but physically, this is bad for you as well. Right? So no, let them deal with the toxicity inside of them. And that can create illnesses and all types of stuff. They wonder why they're getting sick. Stop being evil on the inside. Don't be evil on the inside. All right. I'm trying to understand. Okay. And then I had here some positive things that we can do, or positive reactions, as far as, the journaling, going to therapy, praying, meditating, learning how to de-stress yourself, learning how to de-stress, because of course you might feel the stress even if you don't let it out towards them, or even if you don't choose to, respond to the situation. But de-stressing, learn how to de-stress yourself in a healthy manner. So whether it's working out, whether it's taking some deep breaths, whether it's listening to certain music, whether it's taking a time out, whether it's getting some fresh air, whether it's driving to a peaceful lake, like, learn how to de-stress yourself in a healthy manner. Notice I didn't say become a shopaholic, stress eat, indulge in vices, drugs, alcohol, and, that create other problems. Like, yeah, I didn't get into that with them, but now I'm creating another type of toxicity in my life that I'm going to eventually have to address, especially when you make it a pattern, and then it'll become like a second thing. Char Hughes. Hey, girl, I have not seen your name in a while. How have you been? Char is one of my day ones, and it's nice to see you, sweetie. Now, this is a big tip that I'm about to give you guys about compartmentalizing. I'm telling you, this right here is like my number one strategy to dealing with most things in life. And especially if something is stressful, I immediately compartmentalize. This is how I can be the person in the middle of some type of emergency, and I can compartmentalize my stresses and fears, and just logically, okay, what do I need to do to get out of here safely? Okay, we need to do this, we need to do that, because I'm able to compartmentalize. And the thing about compartmentalizing is you can always come back to it. And remember earlier I was talking about, dark energy using toxic people and narcissists to try to bait you into doing toxic things right when you have important stuff to do, when you're trying to meet your goals, because they want to zap your energy, because they are energy vampires, even with the negative supply. They want to distract you and deter you from meeting these goals. So you can have a feeling and deal with a situation, compartmentalize it, and be like, okay, I'm going to come back to this later on, because right now I'm in the middle of writing a paper. Right now I have to go take my college classes. Right now I'm not going to call out of work today or use family leave because I'm stressing over this person and I lose money and this and that. I'm going to compartmentalize it. They tried to ruin my day. All right, I'm going to honor my feelings. See, we're not pushing them away. We're just putting them to the side for a sec. There's a difference between pushing down and pushing away and putting to the side. Compartmentalizing is really just putting something to the side. Just make sure you come back to it. And when you have structure about your day or you create spaces for yourself, you'll be able to come back to it, whether it's during your prayer time, whether it's during your meditation, or maybe you might feel like you need to say a prayer right then and there. A quick prayer, compartmentalize, and keep it moving. Come back around to it in your therapy sessions, but I've compartmentalized it and now I can actually move on. And I know this might sound hard. Like some people are like, how can I compartmentalize that? They done said all this crazy stuff to me, got me all riled up because they have too much power and they shouldn't have any. Why would we want to empower the enemy? Just think about that. Shar says, I've been in school graduating next year in a bachelor's in science and health administration. Awesome. And that sounds like a good field because healthcare is healthcare, girl. Awesome. Congratulations. And I miss you too. I'm glad that you're able to tune in. The good thing, Shar, is everything has its time and place. And these videos, doesn't look like they're banning YouTube, at least not yet. But it's an American company. Because we were talking about the TikTok ban earlier. And I think they wanted TikTok to sell to an American-based company so they wouldn't feel all of the information going to another country or whatever. But yeah, awesome. It's always great to hear about survivors, moving on with their life and doing positive things. Because there's life after narcissistic abuse. And it's usually better than before. That's the crazy thing. They take you through these dark night of the soul, but it's an invitation for you to actually level up emotionally mature wise, You'll level it up. But compartmentalizing is amazing. Man, it's my go-to. Like if you don't take anything away from today's video other than disempowering them, of course, compartmentalize. Yeah. Yeah. And just know you have control. No matter what you're feeling, you still have control. No matter what you're feeling, you still get to decide how you react. And you don't have to react with how you're feeling. Like people think that, I'm feeling this, I have to react that way. Not necessarily. How would you even keep a job, right? Especially if it's customer service focused, like people will be doing all types of things and you have to remain professional, right? So you can treat these interactions that way. Just interactions, period, with people on your outside world. Like I get to decide. I get to decide where I'm going to put my energy. And if you really choose to give someone any of your anger energy, it was your decision, not a trauma bond or anything else. Because sometimes you really can say something back and not feel so devastated after the fact because it was your choice and not their pricking. Like, yeah, you tried to prick me. I thought about it and I decided that I wanted to say this back. I did, not a trauma bond, not my lower self, because people, sometimes they need to be, sometimes it's okay, Like judges do it every day. They hand out, they say things like every day to people's cases. They have to make a judgment. They have to give a rebuttal for people's fuckery. Like sometimes you'll say something or have some type of response. All I'm saying is take control of it so that when you do, it's not to your detriment. Like I sat here and talked about the person making the 6,000 posts with me and this and that. I'm not really giving them light, but I'm okay. You could tell like when I'm talking about it is in a very controlled manner. Like this person doesn't have authority over me. I'm not somewhere in a corner crying and feeling like my life is over because somebody made me overly relevant in their life. Because, you can look at it that way when people are constantly trying to prick at you and bait you into stuff. You are like, honey, I'm not your God. If you didn't know that, let me tell you right now, I'm not your maker, nor do I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop making me overly important in your life. Like, I'm trying to help you out. And, don't worry about me. Go on your path and worry about you. Because you're a non-factor over here. And I'd love to be a non-factor to you. But you can't, no matter how much, if they're saying you're a non-factor, but they're posting about you 6,000 times, you're a factor. You're a factor. And they're in denial, heavy denial. Because nobody puts that astronomical amount of energy into any type of area unless they're passionate about it. I put over 1,000 videos on this channel because I'm passionate about teaching people about narcissistic abuse, increasing emotional maturity. So you can think of it that way. Like, the more energy you're putting into that rebuttal, you're becoming passionate about it. You're giving it, you're giving it space in your life. And that might go against, like I said, when you deserve better, how will you get that? How will you get it? All right. So I really hope that this video helps somebody that might be struggling. When I can, I need to come back to my videos and tag other relating content because, of course, out of my 1,000 videos, there are going to be other videos that relate to this. I made like a 3-part series on anger, and I might even, do I have an anger playlist? I might. I'm going to have to check because I made this years ago. Like, we're coming up to 8 years on this channel. So it's a lot of years I've been on here, you guys. And me being a psychology junkie is never going to end, but I always enjoy coming on here. And it's really nice to see people that were here from the beginning as well. Yeah, but child, people be watching my life harder than me. Because my eyes are on God. Like, everything I post is a rebuttal for it. Like, people trying to read in it and make it this and make it that don't know nothing what they're talking about. And like Michael said earlier, it just becomes laughable, but it's also sad, because they could use their energy much better to get them further in life in a positive manner, because I ain't nobody's maker. I'm down here in the world. We all have our different gifts. This is one of mine, and I share it on my channel, and that's that. Nobody don't need to be overly focused over here or on me unless they're trying to learn from it, So I'm going to leave this live open, you guys, in case somebody has any questions about their situations or questions about emotional maturity, question about something that's stressing them out, question about how they can better deal with a negative situation in their life. My live chats are a good way to connect with me. I used to provide coaching, and that was like $125 an hour, unless people got like a bundle pack. So people have paid a lot of money to have the kind of access to me that you guys are getting through my lives. So you can use me and take advantage of it. My email address is also there down in the corner. If you are shy about putting your business out there a little bit, or, you can ask your question generally too. But yeah, I have an email address there. This channel has been a way for me to pay things forward in my life because I know firsthand the importance of emotional maturity. And I'm sure you guys do now. All right. I don't see any questions. So either I'm doing my job really good and somebody is awfully shy, which you don't need to be because closed mouths don't get fed, right? All right, you guys, I love you. And I hope that you're having, you feel more empowered about taking control over the reactions to people fuckery, because people will do it. There's a lot of low vibrational people, So this is a skill. There's an art to it. And there's a way that you may need to renew your mind so that you can better do it. If you're just joining in, you can always go back and replay. Like this video and subscribe, you guys. Share the content with someone you know that may have anger management issues. These are the type of videos that will help them out, right? Thank you, Shar. She said I always did a great job. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys appreciate this, because that's what I want, for it to actually be useful, because it's time that I can't get back either. And it's nice to know that it actually benefits someone appreciate it, and it does help them on their journey, because it's the whole point of this. Because I already know this stuff. I don't have to make the videos for me. It's already in my head. All right. So let it bless you, you guys, and stay well. Keep investing in yourself. Keep leveling up on your emotional maturity. It will help you in every area of your life, because it's wisdom, really. Increasing emotional maturity is really it's increasing wisdom. It's understanding or having a curiosity of understanding how the human mind works. Does it mean that you're going to know why everybody is always doing something? No. But the whys don't really matter. Is the what. Is like, oh, you did that though. You don't need to understand everything about somebody else's mind, because you won't, because you're not their maker. But just knowing that they felt bold enough that they were willing to risk your relationship and do these things to you, that's enough right there. Just to know that they are being manipulative, just know that they are trying to bait you into conflict and low vibrational interactions, that's enough right there. And all you need to do is know how to control yourself as to how you're going to respond to that. And silence is a response. No response is a response, right? So, all right, you guys. I guess my cell phone gave you one confirmation. All right, you guys, take care. I love you, and I will see you in the next live chat.